say that how Joya ma'am met the mother again.
Oh, okay. Yes, that's a very, very nice question. Let me tell you. Well, you see, this is a very normal thing. She had just finished schooling, alright, and I think she had completed her IA, if I'm not wrong. Those days you used to have something called intermediate, science intermediate art, similar to the ISC, alright. So she completed her IA, and she and her cousin, her name was Joya, and her cousin's name was Vijaya. The two of them wanted to go and travel somewhere. Some very justified stuff. You guys travel every year. She didn't travel every year, but after IA, I think they really asked their parents, we must go somewhere. Obviously, those days it was not so common to go on family holidays like it is today, not at least the way it is done today. So they persuaded their uncle, who was pretty young, mother's brother, to come with them. So the three of them embarked on a journey of South India. And they had many dreams, they looked up where they wanted to go. And somewhere on the train to South India, they didn't travel by plane. So they traveled by train to South India, and somebody who was from Tamil Nadu sang a song of Aurobindo to them. Very interesting, Tamil gentleman singing Aurobindo Sangeet to them. So they were very thrilled, because the appeal of Tagore goes far beyond the borders of Bengal. And then they asked whether, and then so Joya ma'am asked, and Vijaya ma'am asked, so how did you learn Aurobindo Sangeet? Obviously they learned it from, like you learn, from recorded music. This recorded music was in the voice of Pankaj Mullik. So they said, oh, you come from the land of Rabindranath Tagore and Pankaj Mullik. So very, very happy. So on the train journey, they convinced Joya ma'am to include, or rather the three of them, to include Pondicherry in their itinerary. They had no plans of visiting Pondicherry. So at the instance of this Tamil gentleman, they landed up in Pondicherry. But in those days, if you landed up just like that in Pondicherry, you would not, you would not be guaranteed accommodation or anything. It was a much smaller place, and you had to inform the mother and take her permission beforehand, which obviously hadn't happened. So they went in, but Pondicherry is still a town, and unlike today, where it is promising to be a tourist paradise, in those days, the hotels in the marketplace were places where people would go to drink illicit and cheap liquor. Okay, so obviously you can understand, and other things that would happen. So as girls, they went in and they found that the rooms didn't have attached bathrooms. So you had to go down the corridor and find the toilet, and the toilet didn't have a boot. So you could be having bath and somebody could open from the outside. So obviously they were horror stricken. And then eventually the three of them went and met the mother at the tennis ground, and somewhere pleaded with her, this is our condition. The mother lodged them in the house that used to belong to, or rather the Dilip Kumar Roy used to stay. Dilip Kumar Roy, son of Dijendra Lal Roy, who was the composer of the first song you heard today. So Dilip Kumar Roy had by then left for Pune, the house was empty, and the mother allowed them to stay there. So that is the story, how they reached Pondicherry. Second part of the story you heard, because she actually used to follow on foot. Wherever the mother would go, on the road of Pondicherry, she would follow. And she had the same experience as many Vaishnavites, She felt that it's the divine, she actually felt that the mother is divine. And she felt that, unconsciously and subconsciously, she would follow the mother around, everywhere. And then she said, this is heaven for me, I don't want to. So the story goes like this, that she came back, she was sobbing. She wouldn't come back. Her uncle pleaded, I've taken, it was a condition that I would return you safe and sound to your parents. How come you, don't want to go back? So then, sobbing all the way, she came back for Pondicherry. So that is the story. And the other thing is, which I must tell you, when she last went to meet the mother, just before leaving, The mother was, as you saw in that little documentary, was distributing prasad, and she was sitting. And Joya ma'am, basically the mother tried to look into her eyes. And Joya ma'am would not meet her eyes. And the more she tried that, the mother would bend her head even more. So finally, she couldn't resist. The mother stooped down and looked into her eyes and said, and by then she had a feeling of something being pulled out from within, and the mother said, au revoir. So much later, when we went together to Pondicherry, she understood au revoir, as you all know in French, means till we meet again. So the mother knew at that moment in time that this was not goodbye, this was not farewell, this was till we meet again. Okay? So I've answered your question.
Thank you so much, sir.
Any other question? Exactly like we have Aurobindo Syrian Teacher Foundation. She went to North Calcutta to a school called Dove School. And in class 6 they would change to St. Margaret, where the parents and the joint family never sent her. So she learned dancing at home. She wasn't actually taught by anyone. Unlike, singing, where she went to Gitabitan to learn, dancing was a passion. She picked it up on her own, watching some shows and stuff. But she actually taught dance. That is something I have seen, I can tell you. So much before she came here, when I was a kid, you saw those pictures of an empty field, a power plant behind. That was a place called Barauni. And it was in Bihar. It still is in Bihar. Alright? So it was a project coming up. So whenever, there was something or the other, she would organize dance dramas, plays, all that kind of thing. And the local children of Bihar, she would train in Segor dancing.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Joyadi. Happy birthday to you. May the Lord bless you. May the Lord bless you. Happy birthday, dear Joyadi. Happy birthday to you.
I say this with a great deal of happiness and contentment because it also happens to be the birthday of the founder principal of this school, but who also happens to be my biological mother. And I'll start with her. She was there for about 2 weeks. So at the end of the first day, she told me she was bored. So I said, but you came all the way, you knew I would go to work. So she said, buy me an easel and some paint and I'll paint. And she painted 3 oil paintings in the space of 2 weeks. So it tells you something. It's not about what she did. It's more like this, that there will be time each person finds in life where there is nobody around to give you company. And there is something worthwhile you might do. Of course, nowadays there's television, there's internet, there's so much else. But this is something you create. The television, the internet just makes you follow. And maybe it enriches you or it doesn't. But producing a work of art is a great way of spending spare time. The second I'll talk about is of myself, but again, not about, I'm not a painter at all, but I did go forced by my mother to many places, including to a drawing class as a kid. So I never became an artist, but when I enrolled in engineering, I saw the value. Because in engineering, you have, along with the subjects that you do, theoretical subjects that you study, you have to do drawing. Now today, of course, computers do the drawings very often for you, even if when you're an engineer. So the sense of how do you depict 3 dimensions in 2. These are things that only come when you begin to draw. It gives you, as the speakers before me said very correctly, it gives you an idea. Paintings today lead us to understand that what you see is not necessarily what you really see. What is apparent and what is real are not one and the same. The photograph tells you what you see in front of you. But when you see with your mind's eye, the painting tells you a bigger, better, and often a very different story. So, thank you very, very much to everybody who participated. Believe you me, these are things you carry all the way in your lifetime. So I encourage you to draw more, to paint more, and to continue doing that, because it is something you can do with yourself and all by yourself. You don't need people to come and sit with you. You will suffer. If you are a painter, I can assure you, you will suffer from no loneliness. You and your painting are a world to yourselves. Thank you very much. I commend everybody and the organizers for having made this such a great success. And once again, thank you for making this so truly wonderful for us. Thank you.